This is it, YouTube viewers. My review of the Series 7 finale, Name of the Doctor. Before this episode aired, I was a bit worried about how this was going to turn out, what with it being the 50th anniversary of the show and everything, but also because of Steven Moffat's most recent stories. Well, with the exception of The Bells of St. John, which was pretty good, but from Let's Kill Hitler onwards, all his stories have been rather disappointing, especially the Wedding of River Song, which made the whole of Series 6 a waste of time because of how the Doctor got out of his death. But let's forget about what's already been set in black and white. Let's talk about the story itself, Name of the Doctor. Now, this will obviously contain spoilers from the episode, and if you haven't seen it yet, get out of here now, watch the episode, then come back and watch this. The main thing I was afraid of with this episode, obviously like a lot of fans, is that Steven Moffat might end up revealing the Doctor's name, and that would shoot the entire show in the foot. None of us wanted that, just ask these guys. But thankfully, we didn't hear his name in this story, so Doctor Who hopefully will go on for many more years to come. Although it was spoken, we just didn't hear it. Now, as for the episode itself, I got a real kick out of the pre-title sequence, where we see Clara going through the Doctor's past, and well, the opening shot of Gallifrey, fully constructed right at the beginning of the Doctor's travels, well, that just screams nostalgia. We even get William Hartnell going into the TARDIS before it's got its police box disguise, and William Hartnell actually ends up talking to Clara. I don't know if that was actually part of An Unearthly Child or not. I think it might have been edited footage. I certainly don't remember that clip. But anyway, Clara ends up coming into contact with all of the classic Doctors. John Pertwee driving by in Bessie, Sylvester McCoy hanging from a cliff in Dragonfire, Tom Baker running around in the TARDIS in I think it was The Invasion of Time, Colin Baker sneaking by in the background of the TARDIS, Peter Davidson asleep on the floor in one shot, Patrick Troughton running through what I think is a photoshopped bit of film. References to all the classic Doctors there. We did get a brief glimpse of Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant as well, but for some reason there was no mention of Paul McGann. Why not? Now let's move on to talk about Clara. This is her big episode. This is the episode the entire series has been building up to, and over the series, Jenna-Lousie Coleman is absolute dynamite playing the character, but other than the fact that there's been this big mystery surrounding Clara, there really isn't anything else special about this character. Now, I understand that might piss a few people off, but seriously, people, in all the time she's been travelling with the Doctor, the only 3 episodes where she's actually gotten up off her arse and actually done something productive and made her stand out as a character were Rings of Ackerton, Hyde, and Nightmare in Silver. And, well, Neil Cross's stories and Neil Gaiman's stories, the character seems to go from one extreme to the other. At one point she's too scared to confront the ghost in the mansion in Hyde. By Nightmare in Silver she's commanding an entire platoon. So no one really seems to know how to write this character. And considering, well, I don't know if she's coming back for Matt Smith's final season or not. We know she's going to be in the 50th anniversary. But there just really isn't anything special about her as far as I can see. As to who Clara actually turns out to be, I was kind of right with my prediction of her, as in she's not actually the same person at all in all these different time periods. I did think there would be clones scattered throughout time and space by some sort of enemy, but I think this was a much better idea. The fact that she's actually splintered through time and space as a million different people, all in the Doctor's timeline, to keep him alive. Yeah, sort of what happened to Count Scarlione in City of Death. So I think, yes, that's a really good answer to the question that's been on our minds all series. But when Clara actually ends up reaching the bottom of that time tunnel thing and ends up in this dusty, burning room with doctors running past her at random, yeah, how does she get out of that? A leaf. The same stupid leaf that got rid of the Jack-o'-lantern's son in Rings of Akaton. And the Doctor says, that leaf is what will bring you back from the edge. It's what will bring you back to me. We didn't see that. You just turned up and found Clara, and she fainted in your arms, then you carried her away. In fact, how the hell did you get out of there? Did you get out of there? Well, we'll just have to wait for the answers to that. There were one or two moments throughout this story, I'm not going to lie, where I just stopped and thought to myself, what? The first of which was just after the opening titles, where Vastra goes to confront this convicted murderer, and he bargains for his life with some information about the Doctor and some space-time coordinates to Trenzalore. What I want to know is, how the hell does he know about this? Where did he get that information from? Okay, so he does know about the Whisper Men, but that's mainly because he's a bit crazy. Heck, it might even have been the Whisper Men that caused him to go crazy. But, well, there's no development of this character, so we have no idea how he got that information at all. Vastra and Jenny just need to get this information and tell it to everyone else just because some guy tells them. Yeah, that was weird. And that wasn't the only out of place moment. There was that bit where Strax brings Jenny back to life with just the push of a button. If he has that device, why didn't he use it on Clara in the Snowmen? Okay, so maybe it is just for restarting hearts. But, yeah, Jenny was just brought back to life. And, well, she didn't really do anything in this story. Yeah, she was just put back in the background, which is a bit of a shame considering how much of a kick-ass character she was in the Crimson Horror. But with that said, I did think Vastra and Strax needed to get back in the spotlight. Moving on. One question that still hasn't been answered is how Clara got in contact with the Doctor in the first place. Clara says she was given the number for the TARDIS by the woman in the shop in the Bells of St. John. We still don't know who that person is. Was it River Song? Maybe it was Rose? God knows. So, yeah, we're still waiting for an answer for that. But on the subject of River Song, looks like we've gone back to the older, wiser, more mature River Song that we got in Silence of the Library. So, yeah, my dreams for Series 7 came true in that regard, not just the resurrection of the Ice Warriors and the redesign of the Cybermen. So, yes, I'm very satisfied with this series. But anyway, River Song in this story. Yeah, she's definitely gone back to her roots here, and somehow this is just after Silence in the Library. So she's still technically a dream of some kind, but she manages to join this emergency conference somehow. Yeah, I'm still trying to work out the physics behind it. But with that aside, Alex Kingston, spot on as River Song. Great performance. And I think this is the last we're going to be seeing of River Song. I think this was her encore, because there's that bit when her and the Doctor are like, right, I think this is really it. Let's say goodbye properly. So I think this is a good place to leave River Song behind and move on to pastures new. So well done, Alex Kingston. Great performance in this story. This episode also saw the return of Richard E. Grant as Dr. Simeon. Now, I will say this, Richard E. Grant does a better job in this story than he did in The Snowmen, because in that story his talent was absolutely wasted. Will he be coming back to play the Great Intelligence full time? I don't think so, considering that he died corrupting the Doctor's timeline. But as well as Dr. Simeon, we've also got some new monsters in the form of the Whispermen. Now, the Whispermen were pretty creepy, I'll admit that. And they've taken a page out of the Silences book. Not just the fact that they're very stealthy and hide in the shadows, but in the sense that whilst they're monsters, they've got quite a bit of style to them. And they're all dressed up as Victorian undertakers, which is perfect considering that this episode has the same theme as a funeral, and I like the idea of Trenzalore being a planet-wide graveyard. Despite these good things about the Whispermen, they didn't really do much in the grand scheme of things. Yes, it was pretty creepy when they did appear, like when Clara's speaking with this hologram of River and the Whisperman just walks through it. I was not expecting that. And the fact that one of them's able to murder Jenny when we're focusing on something else entirely. And yeah, they could actually reach into the hearts of their enemies and stop them dead. I'm thinking, yes, I'd love to see these monsters come back for another story. I take it they're linked to the Great Intelligence, and I can sort of understand why they disappeared when Dr. Simeon died, because he's the leader, he's the brains behind these monsters, so if he dies, they die. I'm fine with that. The Paternoster gang also make a return in this story, and like I said earlier, Jenny was put to one side in this story, although Catherine Stewart does do a great job as playing her. And I think that was the right thing to do, because Vastra and Strax really needed to come back into the spotlight after their last appearance in the Crimson Horror, where they did little to nothing, Vastra especially. Also, that bit where Jenny is murdered, then brought back to life by Strax, and then ends up dying again later on. Do you think we could have just kept her dead throughout that entire thing without her having died twice? I mean, there's only so many times you can have a character die before you go, meh, been there, done that. Then we have Strax, played by Dan Starkey, And he actually made me laugh this week, because in his last 2 appearances, his jokes have been more miss than hit. I mean, where he's suggesting all these different weapons. Don't get me wrong, there were definitely some good jokes in both stories, but here, this is the funniest he's been since A Good Man Goes to War. And to see him first appear in the story fighting a Glaswegian, and then saying, excuse me, conference call, knock me out. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. And when River Song turns up and Clara goes, I didn't realise you were a woman, and Strax goes, well, neither did I. And everyone in the room absolutely died laughing at that point. I also thought it was very satisfying to see Strax turn evil when the Doctor's timeline had been corrupted, and he just starts to go on a killing spree, and Vastra has no choice but to disintegrate him. Wait a minute, disintegrate him? She had a freaking disintegrating pistol on her that whole time, and she didn't think to use it on the Whisper Men? What is wrong with you? On the subject of Vastra, she was the standout character this week, and I'm glad that she's come back into the spotlight, although she's still not using her sword, damn it. But yeah, I'm glad that Steven Moffat brought up the lesbian relationship between her and Jenny again, because well, that wasn't even hinted at in the Crimson Horror. Well, I'm not saying ram it down our throats, but yeah, just a reminder, and it's good to see the chemistry between Vastra and Jenny on screen. But what I also liked was that Dream State Chinese style room, and you sort of get a sense that Vastra and Jenny have been globe-trotting. Vastra also mentions the Taj Mahal, so they've been to China, India, maybe a few other places as well. So maybe we could see them in the Victorian age, but in another country at some point. Yes, but Neve McIntosh's Vastra, brilliant job. Yeah, I liked it when she got all emotional over Jenny's death. So, yeah, well done, Neve McIntosh. But what am I doing? I have got to talk about Matt Smith as the Doctor. 10 out of 10 performance as always. I like the way he was introduced in this episode, where he was keeping an eye on the kids, and they trick him by playing blind man's buff. He takes the blindfold off and he goes, "The little Daleks." Yeah, I thought that was definitely something only the Doctor would say. And when he hears about Trenzalore, he gets really upset, because he's finally made it to the point where he has to go to the one place he's been trying so hard to avoid. Yeah, and if I had to name a moment, the biggest, best moment with Matt Smith in this episode, I'd say it was the bit where he says goodbye to River. Although there was that crushing irony when he kissed her. Well, because the other 3 people in the room, so far as they see, he's just snogging thin air. But Matt Smith, I think he's going to be staying on for another year before the next Doctor takes over. But yes, Matt Smith, great performance here. Oh, you want to know about who's going to play the Doctor next? John Hurt, I thought, was a brilliant choice, and I like the fact that they've gone with an older Doctor for once. I mean, he's reaching the end of his life, for Christ's sake. I'm tired of seeing the Doctor get younger, and John Hurt has a brilliant reputation, so I can't wait to see what his Doctor's going to be like. This is obviously going to be a much darker Doctor. I don't think it's going to be the Doctor from the Time War. It might be an alternate Doctor, possibly the Valeyard. Oh, by the way, the Valeyard was mentioned in this story. No. If he is the 12th Doctor, I guess that would make the most sense. This is obviously going to be... Well, I think he's going to be the Doctor who either ends up revealing his name or just hasn't earned that title. Other things I liked, well, as per usual, I liked the music by Murray Gold. Saul Metzstein directed this episode, and from what he's directed so far, he's building up a very good reputation as a director of Doctor Who. And yeah, I liked the enlarged TARDIS as the Doctor's grave, because this this current TARDIS desktop is the one we see in the dead TARDIS. I'm assuming that's the one we're going to get from now on, which I don't mind to a great extent. But yeah, just something I should mention there. To wrap everything up, I'm going to give Name of the Doctor I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So, yeah, definitely better than the Series 6 finale, The Wedding of River Song. Not quite as good as the Pandorica Opens and The Big Bang, but definitely Steven Moffat's best story since A Good Man Goes to War. Now, that wraps up this series. I may do a list of the stories in this series from worst to best, and of course I'll be making my reviews of Hyde and Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, but you might have to wait a while before those because my exams are coming up. But yeah, that's all from me. Goodbye.